At age, brothers. You know what, man? I'm grateful for a lot of things in this world, man. I'm grateful for health. I'm grateful for just the experience of life itself. I'm grateful for the experiences I've had, both quote unquote good and bad. But man, more than anything, bro, more than anything, man, what I'm grateful for is being a free thinker, man. Like I'm more grateful for that more than anything. And when I say a free thinker, man, I can't imagine what it would be like to even live on this planet and not be able to think for myself. And to be honest, I don't think there's been a time where I wasn't this. Like even when I think about as far back as I can think, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever years old, I was always understanding that the systems of this world were jacked up. I knew it from the rip. So I don't think I've ever not been a person that can think for myself on any level. You know, it seems like, you know, and for the people that are asleep, for the people that are asleep, man, it would seem like all the systems that are in place to kind of, you know, keep this world structured are there to help us, man. But you got to understand, man, this world, the systems in place aren't meant to help us. They aren't even in place to help us. And it's like for a person to not see that and to not understand that is, to me, is just crazy. To me, it's crazy, man. So it's like when people are living their life and they're playing the game of life, it's like there are a group of people playing a completely different game. There are a group of people that can see this game for what it really is and are playing a completely different game. And it starts early, man. It starts from the first day they put you in kindergarten, from the first day they put you in pre-K, daycare. Like that whole indoctrination, it starts early, bro. You may think the school system is put in place, man, to help you develop, to help your kids develop as young men and young women. You out of your mind, man. You out of your mind if you haven't done your research on the Rockefellers and the connection between the curriculum that we still have that's outdated. You telling me the world has advanced so much in the last 30, 40 years, but we're still studying the same thing? It's not even set up for you to expand as a man. It's not even set up for your kids to grow. Even on a deeper level than that, man, it's teaching your kids so many. The other day I had to go up to the school. I had to go up to my son's school the other day, man. And it wasn't even for my son. I had a very good dear friend of me called me, man, and told me that a young lady that stayed up here by me needed some help, man. They were treating her son a certain way, man. It was a lot of cruel words being exchanged, some bullying, all kinds of craziness, man. And they were just giving her son and her the cold shoulder. And the friend that told me about it, she knows I don't play when it comes to that school, man, because I'll shut the whole system down. And I went up there, man, and I sit in the boardroom with the principal and all these people, man. And I'm gonna tell you, they knew a real one was in the building, bro. You know, and I just called them out on their stuff, bro, and made them get it right. Because you gotta understand, I'm gonna tell you this. If you aren't, I'm gonna tell you this, man. If you aren't participating in your son or your daughter's school system, I'm talking about PTA, football meetings, cheerleader meetings. If your face isn't being shown in these rooms, odds are your child is being treated less than. Odds are your child is getting set up to be, you know, the lower end of society when they get out of there. I'm telling you, there's a lot of craziness going on, a lot of favoritism, a lot of brother-in-law activity going on in there, man. So the school system is set up to steer your child crazy, make your child a slave. Even the church system, brothers. And and I'm not gonna try to step on no toes, man. I know people love their religion, and I think religion is a beautiful thing. But at some point, you gotta question some of the stuff that's going on in some of these churches, man. At some point. And I'll say this: there are some good, healthy churches. I mean, I have a lot of, man, pretty much all the men, all my uncles and all that stuff, man, are ministers. My brother-in-law is a phenomenal minister. I have friends that are ministers. So I'm not knocking the religion. But I'm like, I heard, for example, the other day, I don't know the dude's name, but it's Shaq's ex-wife, new husband, whatever his name is. I see him pop up in my feed sometimes. Well, this brother just came out of the blue one day talking about, hey, I need 4 point something million from the church. I'm like, what is that? Like what is that about? And then a few weeks later, he comes up and says, hey, he said something about poor people. You need to distance yourself from poor people or something, XYZ. I'm like, bro, like when are y'all gonna catch on to all this false prophecy, man? I mean, just because a man can get up in the pulpit and spit a few verses, man, and make you, dance till your wig start shaking, that don't mean he's a man of God. And I don't know nothing about this guy enough to say whether he's a man of God or not. But I'm saying it's a lot of bullshit in the church. It's a lot of bullshit in the church. I'm gonna tell you when I figured it out, man. I figured it out, and I don't know what year this was, man, where I was you can call it a deacon of a church, and an older lady, man. She was, I don't know how old she was, man. She was barely getting around. She came to us, man, at the end of church, said, hey, you know what? I need like $150 something for some medicine, and she had been at this church, man. She been paying tithes. She been paying offering. She been doing all this stuff. And we had to go back in the back and deliberate on it. And we went around at, questioning if we can get this lady $156 for medicine. And I was the only one that said, yeah, like, what are we even talking about? Like, it's a no-brainer. And they're like, nah, it's just not in the budget. I'm like, bro, I'm out. That was my last day. That was my last day in that church. And that's really when I distanced myself from it. I said, bro, I can't play this game, man. Like, I'm all about playing the game of life. But again, man, I can't be a part of these systems, bro. I can't be a part of these systems. A lot of these churches, man, have become man, I don't even want to mention it, bro. I mean, not only are they bending the religion every 5 to 10 years to fit the narrative of the culture, but a lot of it has just become a money game. It's a money game, man. So again, I'm so thankful, man, that I was able to see through that veil, bro, at a young age. Like I always say, man, I knew it. I want to say I was 7 years old, give or take. I remember being in Sunday school class, understanding on that day. I said, you know what? I don't know what the truth is, but this ain't it. And one day I'm gonna be speaking on that truth, bro. So it's like all these systems, man, they just aren't in place to help people. And if you don't really see them for what they are, man, you can get lost in the sauce, bro. Even the medical system, man. If you think these medical offices and these hospitals are in place to make sure, or have your well-being at the highest of, you've lost your mind, bro. You've lost your mind, man. And I don't even do a lot of research, man, but I know enough to know that a lot of the things we have in practice are actually taking people out more than it's helping people. I was reading something the other day, man, where it said chemotherapy only has like a 4% success rate. Think about this, bro. Think about what I'm saying. Chemotherapy, which is the quickest thing they trying to give people with cancer, man. And I've lost so many people to cancer, brother. It's crazy. All of us have. And you have all this research, all these homeopath, whatever that word is, natural resources. The people are saying, hey, I had stage 4, whatever, and I healed myself. Next thing you know, man, the government says, hey, you know what? You can't practice that over here. You gotta go overseas. You gotta go to Mexico with that stuff. Oh, I found the cure for XYZ. Nope, you can't practice that here. Take these pills though. If you don't see the medical system as the biggest dope dealers, then you're still living life behind the veil, man. Chemotherapy has a 4% success rate, which means it's actually the thing that's taking people out. Do your research. It's actually the thing that's taking people out. A lot of people that are quote unquote dying from cancer, a lot of the things they're dying from aren't even cancer related. A lot of what they're dying from is radiation related. It's shutting certain organs and things down due to radiation. Do your homework, man. Do your research on it. It's a game, man. It's a game. You think, I'm gonna tell you this, the hospitals, the medical field is just like when you go get your oil change. You go in there and get your oil change. In other words, you go in there, just like I do every year, man. I go in there and get my annual blood test, make sure I ain't got nothing in my blood, make sure everything is still ticking right. It's just like when you go get an oil change, man, and you come back, or they come back and say, hey, you know what? You got to get an air filter. You need a radiator flush. You need XYZ. You need this. And you're like, God dang, I just did that 2 or 3 months ago. That auto place is trying to get paid. Like if you don't have flaws in your vehicle, they don't eat. You have to understand the medical system, man, is just like that. If they can't identify flaws, real or fake, then they don't eat, man. So you have to be a free thinker to understand that these systems this world is not meant to assist you, man. This world is just set up to take advantage of those that are asleep. And again, I'm not saying these sectors don't have pluses, to them. I'm not saying that there aren't beautiful things that come out of the, churches and religion. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that the medical field is not healing people, because they are. I'm not saying that schools don't have things in place and systems in place that are keeping kids out of school and making sure they avoid violence. I'm not saying that. But the overall is setting you up for failure, bro. Even when it comes to people, man, if you aren't a free thinker, man, if you can't think for yourself, I mean, you just understand. This is what I'm saying. You understand, man, when you kind of just sit back and observe the world, you understand, to be honest, bro, that you can really trust nobody on this planet. I'm not saying you can't love people and have people in your circle, but man, you really can't trust people on this planet. And I'm talking about everything from men and women you might have grew up with. I'm talking about people you done did dirt with. I'm talking about people you done went to war with. I'm talking about people you've been in relationships with, people you've been married to, people you started business. It's to the point now, man, where you can't trust nobody no farther than you can see them. No farther than you can see them. So, man, all I'm saying, man, is it's like if you're not a free thinker, man, it's easy to fall victim to the systems and the people of this world. So what must a person do to become a free thinker? What must a person do to remove the veil from their eyes, man? I'll say this. And I'll say that this is one of the most important things, bro. I'll say that one of the most important things to find that that free thinking, to find your mind again, is to find balance between light and dark energy. What do you mean? So how is that gonna help me see through the veil? When you find balance between light and dark energy, because you gotta understand this. The majority of people of the world, and I'm not gonna even throw a percentage out there because I have no idea, but most people operate in full light energy, or not full, but heavy light energy or heavy dark energy. which means they're in an energy of, oh, Father God, and bless the people on the world and forgive everybody and nobody can do wrong and slap me upside my face and I'll turn the other cheek, like extreme light. Or some people are in extreme dark, which means, you know what I'm saying, they doing violent things, they robbing banks, they taking, they just doing a lot of dark energy stuff, right? But we have to find that balance, because without that balance, you can't really see the world for what it is. And when I say balance, you really can't see the world through the lens of God, because God consists of both. God consists of both light and dark. As much as y'all don't want to believe that, as much as y'all want to think that God is over here in the light and the devil is over here in the dark, I know y'all want to. I know most people want to believe that. I'm not going to even go down that road, But it's about having balance. Because once you have balance, you can at least begin to see that this world, of course it's loving, but it will shank you in the back. The systems are in place to help you, but they will take advantage of you and lead you down the wrong path. People can be good, people can be loving, but these people can set traps for you. These people can do you a certain way. So it's about having that balance. And I'm not saying that now you're immune to everything, but at least you're in position to see the world for what it is. And then I'll say, man, that a person must plug deeper into source. And I'm not, when I say things like plug deeper into source, I'm not even talking about like religion. Of course, I try to make sure I always say religion is a beautiful thing, regardless of what you believe. I believe religion can and is a beautiful thing. Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, all of them are beautiful things, man. But I believe that if a person wants to really commune with God, he has to go direct, bro. Like, he has to go directly to the plug, man. Like, I personally don't see it any other way. Like, I can't imagine me going to church or mass or Jumu'ah and that be my end goal. That be my only connection to source. Hearing what's coming from the front of the church from the person in charge. That being my only source of connection to God. Now I understand why a lot of people walk around with fear. Because that's not enough. When you go to these religious services, man, that's for a community. In other words, instead of people going to church to receive, that's when you're supposed to be going to a place to give and commune. Of course, somebody's in charge and giving a sermon, but everybody should be giving knowledge from that one-on-one communication. You know what I'm saying? So man, I can't imagine myself being in some kind of, organized religion to the point where that's my end goal. That should only be a tool. That should only be a community. But if that's your end goal, man, I'm telling you, it's gonna be hard to really plug into source. It's gonna be extremely hard to plug in and have that direct connection. And to be honest, I ain't gonna lie. Maybe some people aren't supposed to have that connection. Maybe some people aren't supposed to have that connection. Because I'll say this. Because when you have that kind of connection, it's hard to live your life a certain way. Like it's hard to move like the masses and have that connection with source. Because again, that accountability is right there. It ain't no going and paying my tithes and saying, "Oh, Father God, forgive me, Jesus died." It ain't none of that. It's like you talking to source in real time, nonstop. And it's hard to be in a trap spot. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to be out doing dirt. It's hard to be a woman, sleeping around with everybody. It's hard to be the scammer. It's hard to be all these things, man, when you got that direct source. So maybe everybody isn't meant to have that. I don't know. But as a free thinker, man, I couldn't imagine living my life any other way. Am I saying I'm perfect? No, man, not even close. But even when I'm doing something that, even if I'm doing dirt, let's say I'm doing some dirt, whatever that is, right? I'm still in the presence of source. It ain't no ducking and dodging, and then I go show up on Sundays or show up on Fridays or show up on Wednesday, and now I'm just some. No, bro. It's like that thing is on me all the time. So if I'm doing dirt right there with it, and I got to be accountable for it right there, real time, on site. I can't see myself living any other way besides that, bro. I can't see myself living any other way besides that. And then I will say this, man. Once a person does that, once a person finds that balance between light and dark, once a person plugs directly in the source, that's when a person has to compose their own truth. That's when a person has to compose their own truth. Like that's when a person begins to say, okay, you know what? I see the world for what it is. I see the systems in place, but let me form my own reality. Like, again, if the medical field is saying that this is the way to heal my body, I got to go through radiation treatment, and I got to do all this stuff. And I'm just picking that out because it just stands out of my mind. I'm not knocking people that have gone through that. But if I'm a free thinker, I can say, you know what? And I'm not sure who started this quote where it says, "Let thy food be thy medicine, and let thy medicine be thy food." It's like, you know what? I can form my own truth and say, you know what? If source energy created me and created fruits and vegetables and whatever on this planet to heal me, then that's my truth. Let me stand on that. If I don't believe that the school system is sufficient for my son or my daughter or my nieces or my nephews or my whoever to go out and thrive in this world, let me form my own truth. Where I'll say, you know what, I'll let the school system entertain my child, but in the background, when they get home, I'm teaching them some real life. I'm teaching them things that will move them forward. I'm not giving them the same English and algebra books that we've been using for the last 75, 80 years. I'm teaching them other things on how the world is working now. See, if you want a free thinker, man, you'll move like everybody else. You'll move like everybody else. So all I'm saying is, man, again, I'm just grateful, man. I'm grateful that, you know, whatever reason, whatever I was born into, whatever happened in my life that made me just reject all systems, I don't know. But I'm grateful for that, man. And I think with what the world is doing now, I believe a lot of people are waking up to that way of thinking. Not necessarily resisting, not necessarily trying to take systems down. It ain't about taking systems down. It's just about a man going his own direction. It's just about a man living above the cloud. You know what I'm saying? It's just about a man being free, brothers.